Hi, my name is Ivan and welcome to TNS. In this video I would like to show you a quick way to add snare samples to a drum mix using Reaper and Addictive Drums too. If you were with me in the last couple of videos, I was working on a song called Atrophy and I kinda got the drum mix together, but I felt that the snare was lacking both tone and sustain, and no matter what I did to the snare that the band originally planned to use, it just didn't seem to be enough. So what did I decide to do? Well, it's really easy to do this in Reaper. First of all, I decided to copy the snare track, so I'm gonna do that now. And I'm gonna use this copy of the snare to replace it with a sample. There's this thing called the dynamic split in Reaper, and when I hit D, I'm gonna get this pop-up menu which allows me to split the track at transients, which is exactly what I want, and to create a chromatic MIDI item from the slices. Let's see what happens when I hit split. You end up with a track that looks like this. All the snare hits spread across the board in a chromatic way. So I'm gonna insert my drum sampler on this track. I'm using Addictive Drums too, and I'm gonna see what can I do with this drum mix. But first of all, I don't want this drum sampler to play all these different drum samples. It's gonna play all the kicks, the snare, the hi-hats, the crashes. I just want them to fall all in one place on one MIDI note, and in this case, in Addictive Drums 2, I think it's actually G2, so I'm gonna select all the notes here. And I'm gonna choose note properties, and I'm gonna go for the note G2. I'm gonna hit OK, and as you can see, all the hits fall at the note G2. And while I'm here, I'm gonna up the velocity on all of these, and as you can see, Reaper kinda detects the velocity variations that occurred in the original snare track, but we're gonna worry about that a little bit later. Okay, now let's get rid of that double snare track. We don't need that, we already have that snare up track. And let's see what I did to that snare sample track. Well, first of all, I just soloed the snare track, and I soloed the overhead track that's built into the Addictive Drums 2 and the room track, because the snare that we had previously lacks both, in my opinion. Okay, now I'm gonna play the drums again and slowly bring up the snare sample. Just about there feels kinda right. The sample snare from Addictive Drums 2 gives the whole drum mix a bit more width, it's a bit more roomy now, and it has that top end sizzle which I kinda like. Let's hear it with and without the snare sample now. In my opinion, it gets very dull and very boring. Now let's put this whole thing into context and play the whole song with bass guitars, some synths and the vocals. And now before. Yeah, it doesn't make sense anymore. Back in with the sample snare. If you liked this video, please take a moment to like it, to share it, or subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching and bye.